Today, I will make sense of an American sci-fi activity film called Prey. Spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and take care. The film is set in the northern extraordinary fields during the mid-1800 years. This is the period when European pioneers had colonized most pieces of the country. They stole from the assets, killed the nearby locals, and obliterated the backwoods to fabricate cities. At the beginning, we see a youthful Comanche young lady, Naru, who appreciates hunting. She has a thoroughly prepared canine named Suri, who gives off an impression of being incredibly faithful to her. One morning in the timberland, Naru is rehearsing with her hatchet when she sees a deer. She chooses to chase it down, yet a noisy thunderbolt makes the deer escape. Not able to surrender, Naru and her canine seek after the deer with all their strength, yet they are fruitless in catching it. During the cycle, Suri's tail becomes snared in a bear trap, causing him outrageous torment. Fortunately, Naru rapidly comes to his salvage. When she liberates Suri from the snare, she likewise applies a few regular solutions for his tail. After this, the two plan to get back, yet all at once, they hear a boisterous commotion coming from the sky. Naru promptly goes to research, and when she arrives at a close-by bluff, she sees an enormous spacecraft flying through the clouds. In the accompanying scene, Naru meets her sibling, Tab, who is a phenomenal tracker. As a matter of fact, he is viewed as the fiercest contender in the whole clan. At the point when they go for a major chase, Tab is the person who leads them. Naru imparts to him that she saw a thunderbird overhead prior. She likewise communicates that she is prepared to go along with him in the impending chase. Nevertheless, Tab doesn't really accept that she is ready, saying it is dangerous. Following this, Naru gets back to her mom and helps her in setting up some medication. As she is honing her hatchet, her mom asks with regards to why she needs to chase. That's what Naru answers. She is just about as gifted as the others, since she utilizes her insight more than rawness. Nonetheless, even her mom accepts that she can't chase. This demonstrates that the Comanche public don't think that their ladies are equipped for hunting like their male partners. A couple of seconds after the fact, Toby shows up with a pursued bird for food. However, Naru doesn't give off an impression of being satisfied with it. On the other hand, a perilous glancing hunter leaps out of the boat. He has very progressed weapons on him, similar to lasers, warm vision, and furthermore the capacity to become imperceptible. To provide us with a concise demo of his capacities, the hunter strolls into the woodland and easily kills a Goliath snake. Elsewhere, while social event spices for the medications, Naru sees the men advancing into the wilderness to kill a lion. At the point when she discovers that the lion has caught one of their men named Pui, she chooses to go along with them. True to form, the men won't let her go along. However, when Ted vouches that she can assist with treating the injured, they agree. Soon the pursuit starts and Naru guides everybody utilizing her purported smart mind. They meander around for quite a long time and at last find Pui, who is in a ruthless state. Naru quickly gives him drugs and spices, saving his life. After the effective salvage mission, everybody plans to leave, yet Tabe is inflexible on chasing the wild lion down. In this way, he trains different men to convey Pui back to their camp, while he pursues the lion. Be that as it may, Naru is to some degree wary on the grounds that lions regularly polish off their prey in a flash. They don't simply pass on them to endure. Thus, she requests to go along with him. However, Tabe declines. On the manner in which back, Naru finds the dead and destroyed snake, as well as the hunter's impression. Different men accept that the impression is that of a huge bear, yet Naru is confounded as she has never seen one of this size. Thus, she chooses to return to Tab and caution him about the equivalent. An individual from their camp, named Paka, likewise joins her. Soon after, she meets Tab and lets him know everything, except he as well accepts it was a bear. Following this, them three set off on a mission to chase the lion. Naru proposes putting a trap and taking a situation on a tree to really go after the lion. After some time, she, along with Paka, climb a tree, while Tabe places the snare and takes cover behind certain hedges. The arrangement works and the lion shows up on the scene. However, rather than pursuing the snare, it jumps towards the pair. From the beginning, the lion kills Paka, and gradually begins moving towards Naru. The last option is holding a lance, sure that she can shield herself, yet right then, at that point, she sees the hunter. This occupies her quickly, permitting the lion sufficient opportunity to strike her and thump her to the ground. A few hours after the fact, Naru awakens and winds up back at her town camp. It turns out that her siblings saved her from a lion and brought her home. In the meantime, Tom additionally shows up with the lion's head. Every one of the residents are glad for him, so the elderly folks raise him to the place of war boss. Nevertheless, Naru stays persuaded that there is something different in the Timberland and wishes to return. She educates Todd, however the last option excuses her, expressing that she isn't ready to chase yet. Since nobody accepts her, Naru chooses to assume control over issues. Ahead of schedule next morning, she, alongside her canine, heads to the woodland to examine. There, she puts a rope together with wood skins, attaches it to her hatchet, and utilizations it as a boomerang. With its assistance, she can chase down a bunny, which she cooks in the woods and eats with Surrey. In the interim, the hunter is watching a wolf, which is going to jump on a little creature. As soon as the wolf gets its prey, the hunter assaults and kills it. On the other hand, Naru keeps on moving looking for hints about the hunter. Sooner or later, she shows up where she finds a few dead bison with their skins ripped off. Naru is stunned and confused with respect to who might have done this, as bison are viewed as images of honor and liberality in their way of life. Close by the bodies, she finds a stogie, yet Naru knows nothing about what it is. After her examination is finished, she proceeds with her excursion until she falls into a marsh. To exacerbate the situation, it ends up being sand trap. Naru gradually suffocates inside and maybe she will choke to death. In any case, luckily, she actually has her hatchet boomerang. Utilizing it, she some way or another figures out how to save herself. Naru then heads to the close-by stream to tidy herself up. In the meantime, we see the hunter seeing a similar cigar. In the following scene, Naru finds a huge bear gobbling up its prey. Ordinarily, even the most daring of locals would take off from the monster. However, Naru has a highlight demonstrate. She needs to kill it and take its head to the town as a prize. Tragically, without a moment to spare, her bow breaks and the bear sees her. Presently, with the tables turned, Naru quickly makes tracks and in the end, conceals underneath a beaver dam. In any case, the bear, utilizing his extraordinary feeling of smell, finds her. It is going to eat up her when unexpectedly, the hunter shows up at the scene and assaults it. The two monsters then, at that point, get into a battle, yet the bear is killed in practically no time. Seeing this, Naru is shocked, and she quickly swims away to save herself. The hunter sees her, however doesn't respond, accepting she isn't a danger to him. Following this, Naru shows up the shore, where she is moved toward by certain men from her town. Incidentally, after she disappeared, Tate guided his men to search for her. Naru madly makes sense for them about what she saw, however nobody trusts her. All things considered, they request that she return back to the camp. At the point when Naru declines, they catch her and tie her up. In the meantime, the hunter seems, by all accounts, to be watching them from neighboring. Utilizing his trend-setting innovation, he has denoted their weapons. Shortly later, the tribesmen hear the hunter's thunder and notice some development in the shrubberies. Terrified, they take up their positions, and one of them fires a bolt into the shrub. Then, he gradually pushes ahead to examine, just to find that it is only a hare. This laughs out loud every one of the men, and they ridicule Naru's apprehension. However, all at once, 3 lasers point at the man's body, trailed by metal bolts, killing him instantly. Because of this, different men begin shooting their bolts in irregular headings, and one of them raises a ruckus around town and uncovered his genuine self. The men quickly start going after him, yet the destructive outsider is strong to such an extent that he easily kills the men in a steady progression. As the battle goes on, Naru some way or another liberates herself and breaks from that point. Sadly, the hunter kills every one of the men and starts chasing after her. Naru attempts to loosen in the forest, yet winds up getting found out in a bear trap. Soon, the hunter moves toward her, apparently to polish her off. Notwithstanding, seeing her battling and in torment, he stops. This causes Naru to understand that the hunter doesn't go after snare or unarmed ones. Simultaneously, a few French trackers show up with weapons, take Naru out, and capture her. In the following scene, she recovers cognizance and winds up caught inside a wooden enclosure. She then, at that point, sees a man smoking a stogie and discovers that he is the person who killed the bison prior. All of a sudden, an interpreter moves toward her and gets some information about the hunter. At the point when Naru doesn't answer, they uncover another prisoner, who is, as a matter of fact, Tob. Naru is shocked to see him there, yet she can fail to address it. Soon after, the kin are taken into the woodland, where they are restricted as snare for the undetectable outsider, the chase. Ted panics. However, Naru guarantees him that the hunter doesn't go after unprotected beings. Unsurprisingly, exactly the same thing occurs. The hunter gradually moves toward the men, from behind, and starts killing them individually. While the slaughter proceeds, the kin figure out how to free themselves. Ted goes to track down a pony for himself, while Naru goes to the French tracker's camp where her canine, Suri, is being held. On coming to, she clears out the leftover trackers utilizing her great moves. In any case, before she leaves with her canine, the interpreter moves toward her. His leg has been cut off, so he asks for drug. In return, he offers to show her how to utilize a firearm. Naru concurs and gives him a medication that brings down his internal heat level. As she is figuring out how to utilize the firearm, they hear the hunter's startling thunder. Thus, Naru quickly takes cover behind a tree while the interpreter professes to be dead. Surprisingly, the hunter can't find the interpreter as a result of his low body temperature. This causes Naru to understand that he has a shortcoming, all things considered. In any case, the hunter compensates for this uncommon shortcoming with his knowledge. He steps on every one of the cadavers individually. The majority of them don't answer. However, when it's the interpreter's move, he shouts in torment. Understanding that the human was just professing to be dead, the hunter kills him in a flash. After this, he spots Suri and points his laser at it. In any case, as he is going to shoot Tob, shows up out of the blue and goes after the hunter's head, making his cap tumble off. Thus, the laser present in the cap picks up and fires away the tree as opposed to Suri. Seeing this, Naru understands that the metal bolt is following the laser focuses as opposed to the foe's location. By the time the hunter recovers his protective cap, Tabe assaults him. Shockingly, the tribesman faces him and even figures out how to land a few great shots. This bothers the hunter, so he at last becomes imperceptible. A couple of moments later, he surprises Tabe and cuts him from behind, killing him hard-heartedly. Naru watches this unfurl just before her eyes, yet she lacks opportunity and energy to grieve. She escapes away with her canine immediately. The next morning, she spots one of the enduring French trackers across the waterway and captures him. She cuts off his leg, keeping him from escaping, and involves him in a snare. She then, at that point, takes the drug, which brings down her internal heat level, and makes it unthinkable for the hunter to detect her. A while later, the hunter shows up as expected and attempts to pursue the individual who set up the snare. Yet, true to form, he can't find Naru. Unexpectedly, she shoots him in the head from behind, takes his protective cap, and runs away. Following this, she positions the cap so that the laser can be aimed at the hunter. Before long, he shows up and Naru bounces on him and starts tussling. She figures out how to cut off his hand utilizing his own weapon. Then, she, alongside the assistance of Suri, attaches the hunter with a rope and hauls him to the marsh. According to the arrangement, he focuses his metal bolts at Naru, careless in regards to the way that the laser is focused on himself. At the point when he shoots, the metal bolts wind up entering his own head, at long last killing him. In the last scene, Naru gets back to her town with the hunter's head, doing right by everybody of her. She is then proclaimed as the new conflict head, something which she has consistently longed for.